Hey there! Welcome once again to What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. I am your host, Pete Pardo. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd of September. I believe we're already in September already. Crazy. Summer's winding down, but we've had a lot of exciting stuff happening here on the YouTube show. We've taken a couple weeks off just to kind of recharge our batteries, but secretly I knew there was going to be a lot of really important releases coming in late August, early September. So I kind of wanted to hold off for a few weeks and kind of build the momentum. So here we are. It's the 2nd. We've got some really, really great stuff for today. So let's dive right into it. A lot of great metal and prog rock and all sorts of classic stuff. So first, our featured CD of the week is the latest from U.S. Doom legends Pentagram. It's called Curious Volume. You're hearing it now. I mean, it's been 4 years since they released their previous album, Last Rites, in 2011 on Metal Blade Records. They now find themselves back on Peaceville once again. And what can I say? I mean, this is like the classic Pentagram sound. Bobby Liebling sounds better than ever. Victor Griffin, he's the Pentagram guitar player. His riffs are all over the place. I mean, just listen to this. Heavy stuff. You know what I love about it is that it's got that classic Doom feel, but there's still that like early, late 70s hard rock sound that Pentagram always did. There's even a couple tunes that border on that early punk style that kind of started by the MC5 and Iggy and the Stooges. So there's a good mix of material here, but the riffs are great. The production is very clean. You know, if you're used to some of those old Pentagram albums from the 80s that were really muddy and just kind of underground sounding, this is a lot more polished sounding, so I don't know how that's going to go over with some of the long time fans, but for me, this is the best Pentagram's ever sounded. This is the best production they've ever had. I think they finally deserve it after all these years, so I'm really digging this. You know, it comes in a digipack. It's got some cool stuff on the inside here. Gotta love it. You know, full lyrics, drawings and stuff. It's great. I love this band. I caught them live late in 2014. It's one of the best shows I saw last year. They still got it. I'm very happy for Bobby. He seems to be sober and on the up and up, and he's singing great. They're writing great tunes, and you know, Pentagram has been influential for many, many years. They just never achieved a lot of the fame of you know, some of their contemporaries. So hopefully now that's all going to come to them. So anyway. Curious Volume, Pentagram, perhaps the best Doom album of the year. So, investigate that one. All right, we're going to kind of stay on the Doom thing. All right, we're going to go over to San Francisco. I'm sure some of you know who I'm talking about. Orchid, Sign of the Witch, new EP, 4-song EP. I guess kind of like a stopgap till their next full length. You know, what can you say about these guys? They have taken the early Black Sabbath sound and kind of ran with it. And, you know, this is just quality contemporary Doom with a classic feel. And, you know, like I said, 4 really good tunes on here. 3 of them are your typical Sabbath, early Sabbath Doom stompers. The 4th tune is kind of like the swirling psychedelic piece with, like, haunting organ and creepy effects-laden vocals. I don't know, I dig it. This is really good. It's one of those EPs where it runs roughly 19-20 minutes. By the time it's done, you want more, hit the replay button again. These guys are awesome. Hopefully we see another full length from them sooner rather than later. In the meantime, groove on this. Happening stuff. Alright, now from Virginia to San Francisco. Going to go all the way over to Scandinavia for the latest from Ghost. This is called Meliora. You know, initially I was kind of not really sold on this band. I thought they were old gimmick, no music behind it, but I was pretty quickly proven wrong. This is a hell of a band, regardless of what you might think of the gimmick. You know, they dress in these kind of demonic priest outfits with masks and stuff. And nobody knows who the members of the band are. You know, each album has apparently a different singer. We know it's not the same singer, but they're all brothers. At the end of each album, the singer dies, turns over the mantle to the younger brother who takes over the reins for the next album, so on and so forth. You know, sound-wise, you know, their first album, their debut, was a crazy mix of, like, vintage Merciful Fate with, like, King Diamond style vocals mixed with like the kind of psychedelic pop metal of the Blue Oyster Cult. A lot of the vocal harmonies are very similar to the Buck Dharma sung material from classic Blue Oyster Cult material. Some Sabbath influence. Really heavy album. A lot of great guitar work, screeching vocals. Lots of melody though, satanic themes, that whole thing. On the second album, more of a vocal-oriented album. Papa Emeritus, the singer, the second album, took a much more proactive role. There were less of kind of the King Diamondisms, less guitar thunder, more keyboards, classic style keyboards, Deep Purple, Uriah Heep style organ and synth work coming into play. Mellower album, but still really big on the melodies. I dug it a lot. This new one kind of combines the two. It's pretty damn heavy. The songs are instantly memorable. They're catchy. They're heavy. There's some prog stuff on here, classic metal. I mean, it's just, I dig this. This is going to be on a lot of people's favorites coming into the year, and deservedly so. And I believe this debuted in the top 10, top 20 Billboard charts in its first week of release. This just came out, so pretty big news. And I'm sure the tour is going to happen either later this year or sometime next year. So, yeah, latest from Ghost. It's a winner, folks. It's a winner. Speaking of another winner, okay, we're going to go over to Nuclear Blast. Over to Germany, we're going to go. The latest from Kadavar, Berlin, Power Trio. They got a new bass player. The music's as good, if not better than ever. These guys are firmly rooted in that like early, mid-70s psychedelic, hard rock, stoner type thing. So, you got bits of Hawkwind and Black Sabbath and, all this other classic 70s vibes. Really great grooves, catchy tunes. The vocals are very strong. The guitar work is off the charts. It's bluesy. It's heavy. There's this kind of weird psychedelia thing going on amidst all the heaviness, but I dig it a lot. There's about a dozen tunes or so on here. Really, really good. This is one of those bands I think growing in popularity here in the U.S., and I know they've been doing some touring here. So, you've got a wide variety of bands right now who are kind of doing that 70s thing. But if you haven't yet checked out Kadavar, you really should. They're one of the best, definitely in the top 5. Like I said, there's a lot of bands doing this sort of thing, but these guys are getting better and better. I think that for me, this is probably their best release. Each album a little bit different, but equally as good, if not better than anything they've done before. So investigate. Berlin, Kadavar. Check them out on tour. We're going to kind of stick in that retro thing. We're going to come back to the U.S., all right? So The Sword, High Country, is their latest. The Sword are probably one of the leaders of the kind of like the stoner doom thing here in the U.S. They have been for a few years. Everybody loves the Sword. And this is their latest from Razor and Tie. Again, they kind of changed their sound a little bit on each release. This one is more psych elements, I think. There's some mellow moments on here. There's some, real crunchy, doomy material, which they're famous for. But I really dig it a lot. I would say half the album is kind of that really heavy Sword. The other half of it's more in that kind of trippy, mindfuck type stuff, which they do so well. So, excuse my French people. This can be an R-rated show at times. So anyway, I like it. It's good. Instrumentally speaking, it's got some great guitar work and thunderous grooves. Vocals are strong. I dig it a lot. You can't not like The Sword. I mean, all their albums are really, really strong. So, High Country, another really good one. Sticking in the U.S., my good buddy, who I went to high school with, Chris Caffery, guitarist from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Sabotage. Your Heaven is Real, his latest from Metalville Records. You've heard a lot about Chris on our show. Chris has been involved in a lot of recent events. He was over in Wacken playing with TSO as well as Sabotage, the big Sabotage reunion. We've been talking about his upcoming solo album for a while. Well, it's here. It's quite good. Could be his best yet. I think it's my favorite of his since his debut Faces back in 2006. Some really heavy tunes, some more melodic stuff. There's some progressive stuff on here. Guitar work as always is off the charts good. Vocally, he's stronger than ever. I always to me, Chris sounds like a kind of a cross between like John Oliva from Sabotage, a little bit of Alice Cooper, maybe a little bit of Sebastian Bach, a little bits of Dio. You can tell he's really digging singing. The which is kind of cool. He's always a good guitar player. So I really like this a lot. There's some great tunes on here. The title track, Your Heaven Is Real, is great. There's kind of like a heavy ballad called Why, which is really emotional. I dig a lot. Damned If You Do, Dead If You Don't. Great title. An amazing instrumental called Hot Wheels. I mean, there's just a lot of really good tunes on here. There's a couple tunes on here that are like kind of 80s upbeat commercial style metal, which is really cool to hear. So yeah, Metal New Records. Chris Caffery, Your Heaven Is Real. Check it out. Chris will be on an upcoming show too over the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout for that. All right, now just got this recently, and this is one of my favorite death metal bands of all time, and they just really never disappoint. And it's called What Should Not Be Unearthed. Yes, you guessed it, the latest from Nile. This is, without a doubt, the heaviest thing I've heard all year. I mean, over the course of their career, these guys have released a lot of albums, blazing technicality mixed with all those Egyptian mythology and historical, lyrical themes. They mix in some little instrumental bits of ethnic Egyptian, Mesopotamian instruments amidst their crushing thunder. The ridiculously killer drums of George Callias, the guitar work of Dallas Toller-Wade and Carl Sanders. I mean, these guys are, when it comes to like brutal technical death metal, this is like the standard by which I think all the other bands follow. So their latest, okay, a little bit different. Very technical, yes. Brutally heavy, yes. Egyptian themes are ever present. It tells a story about this proposed race that, if their secrets are uncovered, they destroy the world, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. But there are some slow, crushingly heavy moments on this album, and they're probably the heaviest things this band has ever done. I mean, mind-blowingly heavy. I mean, the first time I put this on, I was just kind of like blown away by just, I felt like my body was being picked up and just pummeled into the ground over and over again. It's just unbelievable, just how great these guys are. So, going to be a contender for Death Metal Album of the Year, in my book anyway. The drummer, George Callias, just released a solo album called Invictus a couple months ago, which pretty damn mind-blowing considering, he sang on it, did most of the guitar work and all the drumming. I was like, this is incredible. I don't know how Niall is going to top this. Well, they have. So, Mr. Callias is on 2 of the best death metal releases of the year. So, yeah, Niall. Check it out. Go see him on tour. Be prepared to have your face melted. It's just great. All right, so with that, we're going to kind of move on to somewhat of a reissue. It's a new release, but on the classic rock side, but something that I think a recording that people have been wanting to hear and released in its entirety for decades. We've got the Jimi Hendrix Experience Atlanta Pop Festival recordings titled Freedom. So this is Jimi's full performance at the Atlanta Pop Festival in 1970, not long before he died, actually. And it's got the full performance. It's just wonderful. You've got loads of, if you pick up the actual CD copy, it's got all sorts of great photographs from the event, full color, black and white, all sorts of fantastic stuff. There were a lot of great bands on the bill that day. Apparently the sweltering heat, was something to witness and experience, but the bands played on. Jimi played a great set. There's a lot of just classic Hendrix tunes on here, so you've got, just to quickly fire some off, you've got Fire, Lover Man, Spanish Castle Magic, Red House, Room Full of Mirrors, Hear My Trina Coming, which is killer, Message to Love, very good. On side 2, All Along the Watchtower, Freedom, Foxy Lady, Purple Haze, Hey Joe, A Lengthy Voodoo Child, which is amazing, Stone Free, he does the Star Spangled Banner, not as impressive as Woodstock, but it's still good, and then a really, really cool Straight Ahead, which is nice. Compared to some of the other live Hendrix albums that are out there, you've got, for me, the pinnacle is the Woodstock set. I mean, that to me is Hendrix at his live, recorded best. The Band of Gypsies live album from the New Year's Eve show at the Fillmore is fantastic, but we don't have that whole show. It's just kind of maybe half of it. And then you've got Monterey Pop and various other ones. They're all fantastic. But this ranks right up there. Again, I've only had this a little bit, so I probably need to just kind of dive into it more and more and more. But this is probably not far behind the Woodstock set, in my view. And it's also nice it's the full show. So, if you're a Hendrix lover, you probably already have this. If you're a Hendrix lover and you don't, you need to get it. It's pretty reasonably priced out there. So, and the guitar playing is off the charts. His vocals sound great. So, well worth checking into. With that, forgotten favorite, you say? Of course. So, here's a real rarity. I mean, this is kind of as rare as you get. I know sometimes I throw some really obscure shit at you, but this is the one and only release from a U.S. band called Fields. All right, this is their only release from '69, I believe. Sorry, yeah, '69. And not to be confused with the British kind of proto-prog band called Fields. It's a U.S. band. One and only release. They were a trio. If you like that kind of really psych proto-metal blues of like Cream or maybe the MC5, like acid-tinged fuzzy guitars and booming bass and, the busy drums and, just these kind of really heavy blues, hard rock tunes, steeped in a little bit of psychedelia. That's kind of what you get here. One of the tunes is like 20-some-odd minutes, and I guess on the original LP took up the whole album side. So it's actually pretty fun. It's kind of cool. I mean, I'm a sucker for this, like, kind of early fuzz guitar stuff. All this predates kind of the metal movement. But, one of the hundreds of bands who were out there doing some really heavy stuff before heavy became, kind of the norm. So if you can find it on CD, it's available. It's called Fields, self-titled. Well worth seeking out if you love that kind of old-time heavy rock stuff from the late 60s, early 70s. So other than that, the only thing I want to mention, you see me wearing this wonderful ACDC Angus Young shirt. I happened to catch ACDC in New Jersey in East Rutherford on the Rock or Bus tour just last week over at the MetLife Center, formerly in the neighborhood of Giant Stadium, which is no longer there. So now we've got MetLife Stadium. So I think there was roughly 60,000 people there, give or take. And the band were on fire. They played like 18 songs, pretty much everything you wanted to hear. Handful of stuff off the new album, all the classics. Brian Johnson was in great vocal form. Angus was, I honestly, and I don't know how this happened, but I had never seen AC/DC before last week. I don't know why, because I've been into them since I was a kid. For some reason, I just never went. Kind of lost interest in them for a bunch of years, got back into them again. So I said, you know what, this might be their last big tour, so let me go. They were great. We got Chris Slade back on drums. He was doing great. Cliff Williams on bass. And then we got Stevie Young. Is that his name? Yeah, he's the nephew of Angus and Malcolm. And he is filling in for, obviously, Malcolm can no longer tour with the band due to his illness. So he did a fine job. And it was loud, it was raucous, people were going nuts. I mean, it was just, it was a great experience. It was just really, really good to see ACDC live finally. I've seen them on video a million times and whatnot, but it was really, really cool. Great live show. Angus is just such an entertainer. He's just an incredible guitar player, so it was great to finally see them. So, yep, ACDC live in New Jersey. Upcoming, I'll have some reports for you. I'm actually going to see Wishbone Ash in a couple weeks, actually not far from my house here in upstate New York. And we got Steve Hackett coming up later in the fall, as well as Al Di Meola also in the fall. So I got some good stuff in line for the next few months. So with that, I will leave you until next week. Next week, by the way, we've got some really good stuff. We've got the release of the brand new album from Iron Maiden. So we'll be talking about that next week, as well as the new one from Spock's Beard, and we'll see what else we can rustle up. I believe the new Riverside as well. So we got some incredible new music to talk about next week. So tune in. Remember, visit us on the web, www.seaoftranquility.org, for reviews on all this stuff and much, much more. We've got reviews every day of the week. Also visit us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. And, of course, here on YouTube. If you missed any of our last episodes, they're all here. Go watch them all. It's a lot of fun. Very informative. Great new music I can turn you on to. And I hope to continue to do that each and every week. So take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.